The latest Subnautica devlog showcased the Collector Leviathan, but there were some hidden details you definitely missed and a design document to show how it will work. And I genuinely think it might be the most advanced and interactive Leviathan they've ever made for Subnautica. So, I'll dissect that document here and show you the hidden details. Hey there, I'm Aki, and before we get into that, I think they forgot to censor another Leviathan. We get this view of several documents related to the Collector, and at the bottom, this. I don't know if this was an intentional teaser or not, but this looks almost exactly like Alex Reese's art from Below Zero, so I think they're back as a concept artist. And of course, we also have the censored Leviathan up here, and even though we can only see the silhouette, it definitely doesn't look friendly to me. But I'm curious to hear your speculations about these two in the comments. Now, the devlog goes into detail about how they made the Collector from scratch, but for a few seconds they show a design document. Let's take a closer look. It will spawn in the sparse plains, which sounds like a deeper biome to me, and I don't think we've actually heard about this one before, so new biome. It will also be easily irritable, especially by players, tadpoles and tridents, which are your vehicles, and anything it doesn't recognize. Not very specific, I know, but I think this could be referring to bases. Maybe it will actually attack them? I think it would be really cool, but I'm not entirely sure because that seems like a huge thing. But even if not, this aggression system is so much better than anything we had in Subnautica 1 and Below Zero, where everything just attacked you no matter what, and this seems much more nuanced. Especially because of something I'll tell you in a second. Before that though, their goals with this Leviathan are to evoke surprise and fear in the player, which is exactly what a Leviathan should be doing, and they even use new tech to improve the player's interactions with it. I think this could really help to make the world feel more alive and interactive. As for its abilities, since we can now see its entire model, we now know it has 4 tentacles total. 2 soft, grabby ones, and 2 sharp, stabby ones. And apparently, the glowing part of its head that it can hide with some flaps is an indicator for its awareness of you and its current temper. So you know if it knows that you're there just by looking at it. In the game, it will only spawn once, even in multiplayer, so I think this means it will be a unique Leviathan. And that's something new that only the Emperor had so far. Even things like sea dragons aren't unique. There are actually a total of 3, so I think this will be really cool and allow them to do a lot more with it as well, since it's much more of a character than just another creature. It will first wander around aimlessly, but it can now sense a target when they're close enough and start slowly moving even closer. When it then spots you, it will rotate and rapidly approach. We can see that in this footage, and it's terrifying. When it does reach you, it'll try to grab you, your tadpole, or even stab your tadpole, all with different cooldowns. It can apparently also throw your tadpole, which is terrifying in of itself, but it could just throw you down an underwater cliff and you end up in even more dangerous territory. Oh god, yeah, this is much more diverse and interesting behavior than we're used to from Leviathans. I mean, the Reaper literally just goes up to you and grabs you. That's it. And of course, if it grabs you directly, you're dead. That's an instant kill. I mean, look at that thing. Ouch. But here's the interesting part I mentioned earlier. You can hide from it. This is huge. Before, Leviathans just knew where you were if you were close enough. But this allows for some really interesting stealth gameplay, which sounds incredibly fun to me. Imagine having to sneak past its territory with a tadpole full of mined resources. So, you first swim to a different point to set up long distance decoys. Yes, those are a thing too. Then, activate them and hurry back to your submarine before the Collector gets there. Then, you're on a time limit to sneak past them without lights while making as little noise as possible. Because yes, it will react to light and noise. if you're too loud or take too long, it will catch you, and you'll probably lose your resources. And your life. I think this sounds incredibly fun, and I can't wait to see how it plays out in game. I think it will make everything feel much more alive than the previous games, especially if this kind of thing extends to other creatures as well. I think if they bring systems like this to all the other Leviathans at least, this will make for an insane amount of variety in Leviathans. With you being able to not only hide from Leviathans, but also distract them and influence their behavior, this allows them to do a lot of different things. Imagine a Leviathan that is always in one spot, protecting its nest. But if you can somehow convince it there's a threat, it will leave its nest, letting you grab valuable resources or its eggs for some reason if you wanted to. But of course, if it comes back too soon, you're screwed. This has so much potential, and I really don't think people realize how big this is. This could be a huge part of Subnautica too. We actually have a similar light and noise attraction system being worked on for base attacks in Call of the Void, so this is extra cool to see. And by the way, you can get 10% off gamer subs and support Call of the Void if you use the code AKI at checkout or the first link in the description. Now, let's talk about the things you probably missed. Further down, they mention multiple biomes. The Coral Gardens, which I assume is the starting zone we've seen a lot of, and the Axum Ruins. This one's new. Maybe these are what we saw in the background of the render trailer? But ruins implies ruined buildings of some sort, no? So maybe this is a new alien civilization that has somehow gone extinct? Or these could be really old precursor structures. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Lastly, they mentioned that the Collector has Pearl interactions. And the way this is phrased makes me think like those are a part of regular gameplay. Maybe they're an important crafting component, or a way to deal with the Collector specifically. Maybe that's what it collects. Seriously though, what does it collect? Do we have any info about that? The original devlog shows the process of creating the concept art for the Collector and all the different versions it went through, the 3D sculpting process, how they implemented it, and so much more. If you're at all interested in the technical side of things, I highly recommend you give it a watch. Then again, you probably watched it already anyways. I, for one, am really excited to meet this thing in the game and play around with the new distraction and hiding mechanics now. I can't wait. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!